one of the great student athletes they've ever had. He lost his life his senior year at WashU due to cancer, and there's a Hearty Strong fundraiser about to happen in St. Louis, and we'll tell you all about that. So we got a good guest list today. Connor's here, Jill's here. We're here till 12. Guys, what's going on?
Did you get to see the new Naked Gun movie, Connor?
I didn't, even though I said I was going to try to. I still want to. Everyone I've talked to says it's great, so I do want to see it, but didn't get a chance to this weekend.
But a good weekend overall for you?
Yeah, weather was great. Kind of took it easy, did a little stuff outside, nothing crazy, but that weather, can't beat it.
It was amazing. How about you? How'd you take advantage of this beautiful weather weekend, Frank?
Spent a lot of time on the course.
Did you were predicting
No.
36 holes in? Did you get them all in?
Oh, yeah. Probably got more, yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Good for you. How'd you play?
Okay.
Did you manage to beat Brooke?
No. We'll get into that a little bit later.
You must be incredibly
But
proud.
food-wise, by the way, maybe like one of the best food weekends ever. Lester's Friday, lemon pepper garlic wings with ranch, best ever. Saturday, one of the great Italian restaurants in town, John Minio's, spaghetti and meatballs and sausage. I'm telling you, I'm in love with that place. The bruschetta, the homegrown tomatoes, balsamic, mozzarella, and it's unbelievable. And then last night, when Monique's gone, I can go to Straub's because she doesn't let me go there. Got the Kobe beef burgers, sliced some of that manchego cheese, and eating late, like Kramer talked about in Seinfeld, watching it, with the TV on, just complete freedom, the single life. It's pretty good.
I had some incredible food this weekend you're going to want to hear about as well. But first, inquiring minds want to know, did you make the giant TV purchase?
I did, yes. When she's gone, I had to make a purchase. Went to Costco, had a little help from Alex, and then I couldn't quite assemble it. There's a lot of wires there, so I called my brother-in-law, and he helped me out, Manny. So, yeah, it's a great TV.
Scale of 1 to 10 on handy things like hanging TVs or getting that
0.
stuff. 0.
Yeah.
You're on the negative side of the scale on that.
The worst.
But you're good at connecting with other people, and so as long as you got people around you that can do it, who cares?
You have to have a guy. I got a guy.
Friday night eating outside on the patio at Sapore in Kirkwood.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely delicious.
They really are good.
Great atmosphere, great service, and very fun.
Did you have pasta there?
I took bites of other people's pasta at the table. I ended up going with the salmon, trying to eat it a little bit healthy, and I knew they'd do a great job there, and they did do a great job with it. And John had steak, and our friends had some pasta, and took a bite of that, and it was outstanding. And then Saturday went early. We did a little boat shopping in the morning. Haven't pulled the trigger yet, but did a little looking. And then we
boat shopping.
Mm-hmm.
Let's don't bury the lead here. I thought you got rid of the place.
We do, but it's the first time since our first year of marriage that we have not owned a boat in our marriage. And so
where would you store the boat?
We would probably store it at one of the places within an hour of St. Louis. We haven't decided what that's going to be.
And where would you go with the boat?
In one of the lakes within an hour of St. Louis,
okay.
Either on this side or over on the Illinois side. We're still trying them out. I'll talk about. But we did get to go to Lake Lou Yeager, which I had talked about on Friday with some friends who have a place there, and boated with their boat on the weekend. Water skied for the first time this summer for me, and that was super, super fun. But we went to Crown Candy Kitchen on Saturday, and just coincidentally, it was Andy Kranzev's first day back since he'd been out with some major surgery on his wrist or arm. And said he was a little earlier back than the doctor wanted him to be, but he was really raring to go to be there. His duty called, and it was very fun to see him doing what he does magically behind the counter.
Bacon, lettuce, and tomato?
I didn't. We had the turkey bacon melt, which is also incredible and delicious. And then we brought some treats to take to our friends who were hosting us at their lake place. And John's like, I was like a raccoon that night. I brought these things to share with our friends, but I'm in there because it's so good. I'm eating some of the candy that we brought to share with them because it was so delicious.
Oh, gosh.
Those caramel, they have these, kind of caramel things.
Turtles?
They have turtles, but then they also have, I forgot what they call them, but they're like a flat caramel patty with chocolate in the middle. So delicious.
Wow. Yeah, boy, that's a good
Heavenly hash with the marshmallows in it. Really, really good.
Even their licorice is out of sight.
Soft, always really soft, which is the standard for a delicious licorice. But yeah, it's just so fun to be in there.
Do you have a malt?
It's perfect. He got a banana malt, and I kind of rolled my
he
eyes
got
at
a
him.
banana malt.
And I rolled my eyes. I thought, gosh, of all the 30 malts up here. And I took a sip of it, and I was like, that may be one of the best things I've ever put in my mouth. It
Yeah.
was so delicious.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
really, really fun.
Good food weekend for everybody. Connor, did you eat any good food?
No, not really. I don't think I even went out to eat. So, just took it easy for this weekend.
You spent a lot less money than we did
Yeah.
eating out, which is good for you. It'll serve you better in the long run for sure.
All right, let's take our first break. When we come back, we're going to have the opening dialogue. Greg Willard, 10:35, Rich Gould, 11:08, and Bob Hardy from Hardy Strong Foundation at 11:35.
Everybody loves good barbecue, and everybody wants to know where the next great barbecue place is. And if you're looking for an overnight sensation, it's only taken them 10 years. Three Bay Barbecue and Bakery, Woods Mill and Clayton Road. There is a gas station, West County Phillips 66 gas station. In that gas station, in the back, for 10 years, some of the best barbecue in town. Bring a friend and spread the word. Three Bay Barbecue and Bakery. Don't forget about the bakery. 3baybarbecueandbakery.com. Some of my fondest memories as a kid is heading down to the hardware store. You had to pick up a couple of nails, a couple of screws, maybe a gallon of paint, whatever it may be, right? It was your friendly neighborhood hardware store. Well, those don't exist anymore in St. Louis, except for Schnarr's Hardware. They have two locations in Webster Groves and in Clayton Road in Ladue. Schnarr's Hardware is that place where you go in and you can get that bucket of paint, you can get a couple screws. The advice is always free. And the one thing about Schnarr's Hardware that every single family hardware store used to have, and that is the smell. It smells like a hardware store. It's got the selection. I don't know how they do it. It's a small store, but they got everything you ever need. They got the paint. They got paint matching. They've got big green eggs. They've got screws and nails and everything a hardware store should have. Schnarr's Hardware, 2 locations, 1 great hardware store. Schnarr's Hardware, we'll see you there.
Truck drivers, have you been searching for a more reliable driving job? Get the paychecks and predictability you need as a Schneider driver. Schneider's large selection of driving jobs means you can get the home time that suits your schedule. Choose from daily, weekly, monthly, or sometime in between. Plus, Schneider drivers have access to great benefits with a 401k match and a 24/7 support team. Get the keys to a better driving job. Search openings near you and apply now at schneiderjobs.com.
You know what they say, you never get a second chance to make a first impression, and windows and doors are usually that first impression when it comes to your home. Dalco Home Remodeling custom makes their windows and doors, and better yet, they make them here in Missouri. Dalco Home Remodeling is locally and family owned, celebrating 50 years, so they know a thing or two. The Dalco team is known for quality and customer satisfaction. That's the way it was 50 years ago when they started, and that's still true today. So if you're looking to change the look of your home without breaking the bank, call Dalco Home Remodeling. They do free in-home estimates. Just call 314-298-7300 and make an appointment. You can also check them out online at dalcohomeremodeling.com. As they've always said, if you buy somewhere else and find out how much you could have saved at Dalco, you'll blow your stack. So call Dalco first, 314-298-7300.
Hey, it's Julie Buck for our friends at Triad Bank. They are a full-service financial institution, and they've been in St. Louis for over 20 years with 2 locations, one at Clayton and Lindbergh, and the other one just west of 270 on Olive. If you've got your own business and you want to have a better banking experience, look no further than Triad Bank. Their mission is to provide a wide range of commercial and personal banking services to you and your business. For more, go to triadbanking.com.
It's the Big Sports Show with Sports Director Brendan Lisi. Weeknights 7 to 9 on the Talk of St. Louis, the Big 550, KTRS. And now the opening dialogue with Frank and Jill on the Big 550, KTRS.
Powered by Worldwide Technology Raceway.
All right, by the way, you can watch us on Facebook and on YouTube. The Royal Banks of Missouri text line 84126. We begin with Thought 1. So it happened in St. Louis last week. A soccer fan wearing a MAGA cap at Energizer Park. The man was removed from the stadium. He recorded the removal. The man pleaded with police saying he wasn't doing anything wrong. He was just wearing the MAGA hat. So security stated in the move that it violates the MLS's code of conduct. And here's the line in their code of conduct that they prohibit: campaigning or advocating for or against any candidate of a political party. So the video has gone viral, and the Post-Dispatch is reporting that the video is being reviewed by the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division. The video lasts for about 2 minutes, and the guy with the hat on is named Michael Weitzel. The security tells him they don't want any type of political statement. He responded by pointing to the pride flag, and the security guard said the flags were pre-approved. So the question is, what do you think on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line? Should a league who had rules in place be allowed to enforce them, or should a man not hurting anybody be allowed to wear a hat? 84126. It's starting to be picked up on national websites and on national television. We'll see how this story unfolds for City SC and the city of St. Louis.
The divide continues.
Yep.
People seem to do all they can to keep it going as well. So this headline, of course, near the top of the page, if you were reading the Wall Street Journal this weekend, unemployed Americans endure longer job searches in the cooling market. And it's these job numbers that got the chief government economist fired over the weekend. It revealed something I have definitely been seeing in my executive coaching clients since the beginning of the year for sure. Unemployed people having a harder time finding another job. Most of my clients' cases, they were left with either a big severance package or had plenty of money to bridge the gap without much worry. But the report says in that data that didn't get the big headlines that the number of people unemployed for at least 27 weeks topped just under 2 million, which is the highest since 2017. The median length of employment in the U.S. also ticked up, and it's, again, people are blaming it on that there's just caution in business right now, even though the market seems to be reacting very favorably for a lot of the changes. In business in general, when you look at product sales and jobs, the numbers are a little more cautious. And I had seen it happening. I thought there's no way I have this many people who have been recruited for years that have decided to leave jobs that are, it's taking a lot longer than usual to find the job. That can't just be anecdotally only in my practice, and these numbers seem to back that up as well.
It does seem a little odd that the person was fired for reporting the job situation. That does seem a little different. I saw Meet the Press yesterday, and there really wasn't a great defense for it, so we'll see. All right, thought two. So we have this squad in St. Louis. They're called the Battlehawks. You may have heard of them. It's a unique league because their national television exposure is absolutely incredible. Seemingly every game is on a network, and it's really easy to watch. It's not like it's on Apple Plus. I mean, all these games are like on Fox, ESPN. It's really easy to watch the UFL. It's also unique that only one team draws well, our Battlehawks. And the games are an event here in St. Louis with almost everybody dressing up and yelling cacaw. So I thought because only one team draws that they were in big trouble. I thought there was a reasonable chance when they lost their last game at the Dome that we may never see professional football again in my lifetime. Then a few weeks ago, there was a story about the 4 worst attendance cities were going to be replaced by 4 smaller cities where maybe they could appreciate having professional football a little bit more. And now the big news. Mike Rapoli, who is a billionaire, says he's investing in the league. Rapoli, who founded Vitamin Water and Body Armor, is the guy who buys all of Rick Pitino's teams at St. John's. They have the #1 portal class in the country, and it was Mike Rapoli paying for that recruiting class. He is really into sports. Translated, this guy likes to win, and he usually does. So maybe the UFL, if they choose the right markets and they have Rapoli's money, has a chance. And I think a lot of fans in St. Louis are very interested in that.
So almost no matter how you look at that, that's definitely a shot in the arm for the league and a shot against the doomsdayers who have predicted that it's on its way out yet
that
again.
That infusion of cash can do nothing but help. And, you know, it's like normally you want your sports teams in the biggest cities because there's more people to go to games. But in some of these big cities where the NFL is, people just don't want to watch a brand that's not as good. But so now if you go to a little bit smaller, like a Columbus that doesn't have it, maybe they work. Who knows?
Do you think it works so well here because we had the NFL team and so we have such a hunger for big-time football in some form that's why we seem to be doing better than the other peer cities?
That is a tremendous question. I think at least initially people went to games out of anger to spite the NFL to show them that we are a great football town. But it's had legs. They've been drawing well here for 3 years, so we are a good football town.
Yeah, well, very well said. So many of you heard this news over the weekend about Lonnie Anderson. Oh, the 70s when you could just sexually harass employees as a really strong theme throughout the life of a series, and it went well. Lonnie Anderson, of course, died at the age of 79, just very short time before her 80th birthday. I think if you didn't live through that era, Frank, you can't really understand the sensation that WKRP in Cincinnati was back in the time. It was just very, very popular, especially with the slightly younger demographic that they were looking for in the network television. Were you a fan?
I wasn't like an avid watcher, but when I've watched clips, they make you laugh.
Yeah, we were at our house, and lots of other people and I too. It was one of the things that I didn't realize until reading about it later on, that it frequently featured music from up and coming bands. So just the show helped launch the careers of groups like Blondie and the Cars. That was new information. Do you remember the iconic Turkeys Away episode?
No.
It was inspired by a real life incident where they tossed from a helicopter frozen turkeys as a Thanksgiving as a Thanksgiving promotion, and turns out frozen turkeys become missiles as they come down, and so the commentator who did the farm report was out there covering this, and it sounds like a War of the Worlds report when he's actually describing it. It's hilarious, worth looking up on YouTube if you've never seen it as well. But Lonnie Anderson never really came back with anything as well known as her character there.
Did she do much afterwards?
She was in a movie that was not one of Burt Reynolds' best, but that's where they fell in love, and so then of course their relationship took over headlines in her life as well. But by a lot of reports, she was smarter than people would have presumed, given that she was such a blonde bombshell, and that was a big part of her persona. If you were a fan of WKRP in Cincinnati, I would love to hear from you on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line. What do you remember? What stood out? There was also a very famous, it's hilarious, where they're trying to do this thing to show that as you drink and drive, your response times get slower and slower. But Johnny Fever, who was their famous DJ on the show, ended up getting faster. The more he drank, the better he got. And so it kind of threw the whole Highway Patrol's proof that they were trying to show. It's a very funny episode if you haven't seen it.
All right. Thought 3. My daughter Brooke is my hero. Her due date is August 10th. Friday, she meets Dom and I at Norwood. She walks 18 holes and shoots 75. Yes, she beat me. She walks off the green on 18. Listen closely. Kind of quickly, and then hurries to the restroom. I'm walking off the green, and literally 30 seconds later, Monique, who's in Florida, calls me and says, I think Brooke's water broke. And I said, what? I was just with her 30 seconds ago. She's in the restroom. She calls her doctor, who also happens to be her friend and golf partner, and they talk for like 3 minutes. And then Brooke walks out of the restroom and says, I'm fine. We go to dinner Friday night, Lester's. Then at midnight, Friday, her husband Chris texts and says, we're going to the hospital. 2 hours later, they returned home. No baby. Saturday, Dom and I are on the course making the turn at 9, and all of a sudden, she shows up again. She shot even par on the back 9 on the East Course at Norwood, about to have a baby, and then played 5 more holes on the front, and had to leave early, only to meet us at John Minio's for dinner. And then on Sunday, she says she rested, although I found out she took the dogs on a 4-mile walk. I just love everything about that girl. I mean everything. You know, like people at the course, she's more attention. I mean, everybody sees her and sees this baby about to come out, and yet she's taking the club back almost the entire distance she normally does and gets through it and just pars every hole. It's freaking crazy.
That is incredible. How about that? Speaking of great golf shots over the weekend, the hole-in-one.
That's crazy.
It
Hitting
was,
the ball and going
we had
in.
just watched Happy Gilmore 2, where you have all these, improbable shots. And then we're watching the news this morning. We're like, how did that happen? So for somebody who hasn't seen it, describe the shot that I'm talking about.
Well, there was a ball very close to the hole already there, and her ball caroms off that ball and then goes in for a hole-in-one.
Yeah, just like a pool shot.
Yeah.
It just kind of like
You could
hit
do
it.
that
And
1,000 times and it would never do it happen again.
don't you think it was 1,000,000 times?
Yeah, probably.
I mean,
I'm sure,
I
yeah.
think it was a 1 in a million shot. First weekend in August is always it always serves up the Holy Trinity Serbian Church in St. Louis's Serb Fest. It's in the McKinley Park neighborhood, a beautiful, beautiful little church not far from my house. The incredible volunteers from Holy Trinity Serbian Church put together the most amazing spread of the Serbian cabbage rolls called sarma. They have these other delicious handmade sausages that they serve. The desserts out of this world, the Serbian spinach and cheese pies as well. They have baklava, Serbian cake, which is, I think you guys would have both loved it. It was kind of like banana bread, but layered with buttercream frosting, like 4 layers of it. Serbian donuts made with like the best bread dough you've ever seen, fried, rolled in sugar. It's just, and then Serbian music, costumes, Balkan history information. And, many of our listeners know people who come from that heritage, because this is such a historic church, which dates back to the early 1900s in our city as well. But it's just always fun, and it's always fun to see how there's people there whose great-great-great-great-grandparents were that's where their Serbian heritage comes from, the old country, and they've been in St. Louis for a very long time. And then there's people who came from Serbia within the last 20 years, still speaking the language. And so the mix of those two things always makes it a really, really fun
And we
time.
have a huge Serbian population?
Not as huge as the Bosnian population, but they do a great job both with the fish fry. They mix a lot of traditional Serbian dishes in there. Serbian beer, they have this liquor that they serve that's like a honey liqueur that was really fun. It's just always a great time, I think, and unique. And we didn't discover it till we moved close to the church, but now that we are, it's something that we go to every single year.
That's great. That's awesome. That food sounds good too.
Yeah, I think it was right up your alley. You used to go to St. Raymond's, or do you ever go there?
We used to go for the kibbie. Is that on Wednesdays?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And similar kind of just grandmas doing what they do in the kitchen and have done for a very long time and serving it up to the public, where we get to greatly benefit from it. Something else we greatly benefit from is the incredible customer service that our friends at Woods Basement Systems serve up every single day to their customers. They are so good at handling the biggest problems that sometimes feel like deal breakers for homeowners, with so many changes both in the weather and these massive storms, these rain bombs as they're called, that we've been getting. It's just so much more widespread than it even was 25 years ago for people who had never had any water in their basement to suddenly have some kind of water or drainage issue to need to deal with. And Woods Basement Systems has grown the business to be able to accommodate that need, and they do it by having the best trained technicians, the most sophisticated solutions, and they try to do it at the best price possible to maintain your home's value for the long haul. 618-708-4055, woodsbasementsystems.com.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
Summertime sneaks back in as the week progresses, but generally over the next couple of days, still not bad at all. We'll keep temperatures below normal again today, humidity at a comfy level, partly cloudy, a high near 83. Now, some of us will deal with some spotty storms. This is generally going to be from the metro St. Louis area to the east, basically along and east of the Mississippi River. And then dry overnight tonight, patchy fog developing, 68 for the low. Tuesday, more of the same, just a little bit warmer, a bit more humid, still that chance of some spot storms. thunderstorms from Metro St. Louis to the east. Looks like more typical summertime heat returns for the second half of the work week with highs near 90 and more noticeable humidity from Wednesday through Friday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers on the Big 550 KTRS.
John Bill Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbillroofing.com.
You know, over the years, Lordo's has become part of the family for many, many St. Louis families. For 80 years, they've been helping St. Louis families with all of the jewelry needs, whether it's the diamond ring, a diamond ring, maybe something for St. Patrick's Day, something for an anniversary, Valentine's Day. Throughout the years and throughout the calendar, it's Lordo's as your go-to. Whether it's men or women, you want to repurpose something or buy something new, Lordo's Diamonds in the heart of Ladue on Clayton Road. You see, it's a family business. The family's been running it for years, and they learned it from their father, who learned it from their father. And so that family jeweler, it's where generations of St. Louisans go. Grandparents have gone there. Your grandkids will go there. Right there in Ladue on Clayton Road, across the street from a Norman Rockwell-esque firehouse, is Lordo's Diamonds. Go in, make a friend, and make them your family jeweler, because you can thank me later. 314-432-8008 or online, lordosdiamonds.com.
Do you have the option to control your cash flow and wealth? Are you getting a return on your greatest asset, your lifetime and potential generational income? Overcome these critical financial planning challenges by discovering the control option mindset featuring the lifetime and generational income maximizer. Call Mark Benson and his team at the Control Option at 314-432-9540 or online at thecontroloptionmindset.com.
Do you know why right now is the absolute best time to book your new patio or deck with my friends at Outdoor Living? Aside from being the best in town, these guys are really smart. They pay attention to market conditions, and they've stocked up on patio and deck supplies, including steel, all before these tariffs kicked in. So while their competitors' pricing has gone through the roof, prices have never been better at Outdoor Living. Now is the best time to call and book your summer job. Not to mention, these same competitors have sold out to large conglomerates and hedge funds. Pat Leahy and his team remain locally owned and operated, providing the best pricing and the best service in town. So, looking for a new deck or a new fence or anything outdoor? Outdoor Living, 314-966-DECK. That's 314-966-DECK. Or check them out online, Outdoor Living Inc., or check out their great showroom, Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood, OutdoorLivingInc.com.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset. Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardy contractor and Pella Windows specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation, 314-569-1050. And have a Banner Day.
Welcome back, everybody. Greg Willard's going to join us in just a minute. But first, some big news. The Stiefel Charity Classic, presented by Compliant Solutions, back in the Lou, September 4th through the 7th. And the music sensation OAR headlining a community concert on Friday after play. Would you like to go?
Yes, I would. In fact, I'll be there for sure. And they're going to put it on the 18th green of the East Course. It's really a magnificent setting, too. It's going to be great.
Very fun. We can give away some tickets to go to that concert.
Yes, and the way to do it is we have one quick trivia question. We do this because Greg Willard is in studio with us. And the question is, who was Gerald Ford's running mate in 1976? First one to text in, 84126, 84126. The professor knew him well. Good to be with you, sir. How are you?
Good morning. Great to be with both of you.
You're not eligible to win those tickets, by the way. All right, so the Republicans in Texas want to do some gerrymandering. Is that how you pronounce it?
Gerrymandering.
Gerrymandering. So the Democrats, with an interesting counter move, at least 51 left the state Sunday, one day after a bill that would dramatically redraw the Texas congressional maps. I think it's called House Bill 4. Because you need at least 100 members to be present to conduct business. So what do you think about this?
Gerrymandering is as old as our United States Republic. The term comes from a signer of the Declaration of Independence, Elbridge Gerry. And back in the late 1700s, some legislative districts were drawn in Massachusetts that looked like a salamander. And Mr. Gerry was connected with that, and the term gerrymander sprang up, and we've been living with it for 240 years. Let's call it out for what it is. Gerrymandering is a scourge. It is about as non-democracy as anything in our country. Let's also be clear, both parties do it.
Mm-hmm.
The Republicans do it in Missouri. The Democrats do it in Illinois. If any of our listeners on the other side of the river dispute that, I'd ask them to take a look at that goofy congressional district that starts in East St. Louis and wends its way up Highway 55 and then does a couple of loop-de-loops to make sure it's a Democratic district.
If they would have been successful in this, the Republicans, would that have changed the way the midterms are going to go?
Yes.
If they were,
Yes.
So this is really
It'll be a
important.
swing of 5 seats, and then sort of grade school playground, Frank.
Yeah.
And Gavin Newsom says we're going to do it in California. Let me give our listeners an analogy that I hope will help them understand it. The NCAA basketball tournament and that show on CBS, that
Selection
Saturday
show.
afternoon, the
Sunday,
Selection Sunday. The NCAA announces that any team that makes it to the Final Four will get $100 million. And they also say that we are going to let the Big Ten set the brackets.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what will happen then is the Big Ten bracket setters will put all of the other teams in one bracket, and then they will put the Big Ten teams and the weaker teams in the other, and guess what happens? That's what's happening with these gerrymanders. What is so frustrating to watch it is we've gone from people wearing green eye shades back in the 20s and 30s and 40s doing gerrymandering to these super duper powerful computers.
I was going to say it's AI gerrymandering. Now,
Well, sure.
At least one analyst this weekend called it mutually assured destruction because of what you said. The Democrats said in Illinois and in California, well, we're going to do it now as well. And by the way, it's not the teams that get the $100 million. It's just the individual players that get that nowadays in a
That's
totally
right.
different way.
But yeah, it is, in a way, it's mutually assured destruction. But on the other hand, it's a little different in that what is being destroyed is not the political prospects of these individual representatives. What's being destroyed is our democracy, and more specifically, the votes of the two of you, Connor and
It's
I,
like
and our
winning,
listeners.
integrity doesn't matter anymore as long as you can win.
As long as you can win, what again, frustratingly, is within the last, I think, 3 years, the United States Supreme Court was presented with the question, is gerrymandering constitutional? Because it dilutes votes. The Supreme Court said that is what we, the Supreme Court, refer to as a political question. We are not going to touch it. And therefore, it's left to the other two branches.
All right, next up, the hottest story locally is Sam Page. Let's make this kind of some point-blank questions. A, do you think he'll end up in jail? And B, do you think he's going to be removed from office?
let me take him in reverse
All right.
reverse order. He will only be removed from office if there is a conviction, I think, on the felony charges. So that remains to be seen. Will he go to jail? It's not up there, Frank, with the sun rising in the west tomorrow, but the idea that the county executive of St. Louis County would go to jail for a conviction on these charges is way, way out there in possibility. I think on the one hand, you're hearing a lot, particularly from Dr. Page's supporters, that this is a lawfare, a political witch hunt, taking a page out of Mr. Trump's book. On the other hand, I would say to them, we've all heard the phrase, oh, that's just awful. She got off on a technicality. She committed that crime and she got off on a technicality. Well, there's another side to that, Frank and Jill, and that is she got convicted on a technicality.
Mm-hmm.
If one simply reads the statute under which Dr. Page is charged and reads the language in the indictment, there is a path, again, it's up to a jury, but there is a path that he could be convicted, and in the eyes of many, he will have been convicted on the technicality.
Interesting stuff. I wanted to also ask you what your thoughts were. We talked about it a little bit earlier, the news that President Trump fired a top Labor Department official, accusing her without evidence of manipulating figures to make him look bad. Even some pretty strong Trump supporters have spoken out about this and said this is the stuff of authoritarian regimes. This is not what we want to see in democracy. Is that hyperbole? What are your thoughts?
Oh, it's certainly not hyperbole. Again, to go back to my NCAA analogy, in my mind, it's the equivalent of the Cardinals beat the Padres 6-4, and the Padres fire the official scorer. Well, what? So you have this woman who headed up the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and I think has been in that office for over 2 decades. For presidents of both parties, the anger, as I understand it, is not, Jill, because of what the specific numbers last month were that showed a softening in the economy, but rather the office went back 2 months prior and adjusted the numbers based upon subsequently received data. President Trump believed that this woman was gaming the numbers to hurt him and fired her, which I think he probably has the authority to fire her. But whether you're a Trump supporter or a Kamala Harris supporter, for the love of Pete, can't we all just put the political swords down for a moment and say there are basic facts in our society and in our world? We ought to be able to agree on the basic facts. If we don't like the effects of those facts, okay, well then let's have that conversation. But this idea that we're going to nuke the facts or nuke the fact finders is, in my judgment, borderline goofy.
Speaking of the former vice president, made news this week. She said she's not going to run for governor of California. She's promoting a new book, 107 Days. Gut feel, do you think she'll be in the field for the Democratic nomination in a few years?
No. I don't, Frank, for the reason that, and we've talked about, the three of us and Connor have talked about this before, if the National Democratic Party is going to stay out there in the far left-wing wasteland, it's going to be a very, very sad day for them the day after the presidential election in 2028.
But she's not as far left as Mondani.
Oh, no.
Or AOC.
No, Mondani is out there. He's got his own little island out there. But I think the Democratic Party, and you're starting to hear this at a national level, realizes that they've got that they have to move to the center. Now, whether that's all the way to Andy Bashir, whether instead it's maybe a Rahm Emanuel, but they're going to have to move to the center, and therefore the notion that Kamala Harris is going to rise up like a phoenix from the political ashes, I just don't see that in prospect.
Okay, are you familiar with the young man with the baseball cap at the City SC? Let me tell you real quick. You are familiar with it? So for the people who don't know it, young man went to a City SC game wearing a Make America Great red hat on. He was asked to leave, and there are rules in the MLS charter, I guess you could call it, that do not allow an endorsement of a political candidate. So what's the overview here? I don't know if he's going to try to sue or what's going to end up happening.
Well, he may try to sue. Good luck with that, because the St. Louis City SC is not the government, Frank, and so it's not a violation of the First Amendment or the 14th Amendment. I guess in another sense, I, as a grandfather, I look at it as a sad commentary on what my generation is leaving my grandchildren. In that, back in 1920, if the St. Louis Cardinals played the Chicago Cubs, I don't think a single person or the league, and I think Kennesaw Landis may have been the commissioner back then, would have given one hoot or a holler if somebody had a Warren Harding baseball cap on. They wanted to, they wanted to see, well, can the starting pitcher go? We knew they'd go 9 innings. Could he go 12? Well, here we are now in 2025, and I'm leaving my grandchildren and my generation with a situation where a little boy wears a baseball cap and is banned from a professional sporting event. Good, bad, legal, illegal, lawsuit, no lawsuit, we'll find out. But just as a grandfather observing this, I'm sad.
So you don't think a Warren Hardy hat that says like return to normalcy? I think that was his thing. They wouldn't have gotten thrown out, huh?
I don't think so. I think people would have been much more interested in whether the starting pitchers could go the distance back
Last
then.
10 seconds.
Yes.
Can you answer the trivia question? We have a winner, and so the question was, who was Gerald Ford's running mate in 1976 in the vice president
I was standing
role?
with Betty Ford in the presidential suite at the Crown Plaza Hotel in 1976. She did not know who it was. We looked down the hallway, saw a different group of Secret Service agents, immediately recognized what that meant, and sure enough, Senator Bob Dole from Kansas came around the corner surrounded by those Secret Service agents, and she and I and her daughter Susan learned who the vice presidential pick would be.
Only you could take us behind the curtain. That is really cool. You're the best. Thank you so much, sir.
Really great.
Great to be with both of you. Stay safe.
Somebody else who we think is the best are our friends at Premier Heating and Cooling. They've been so busy this summer. The incredible heat, just taxing so many people's units that were kind of limping through the summer. And the good news is if yours made it through, but you knew you were lucky on this one, and we're guaranteed to get some more summer weather back again, you have a little window here where it's a good time to say, I'm going to go get the information I need on replacing this unit so that we don't end up in a crisis in the middle of the worst heat wave like many people did this summer. Premier Heating and Cooling is the place that you can reach out to get the information, to get solid technical advice on what works best for your house, to understand the best financing options so you can see how you can invest in a new cooling system that will add value to your home over the long run. PremierHeatingCooling.net, 636-916-1122.
At Maryville University, we power dreams, not just degrees. For nearly 150 years, we've empowered graduates to build successful careers. At Maryville, expect a rigorous, technology-driven, mentor-inspired education in a diverse and inclusive learning environment. We help you take it to the next level, no matter what field you choose. Now is the time to turn your ambition into action and transform your dream into reality. Start your journey at maryville.edu.
Congratulations to John Beal Roofing. Want to give them a shout out. They've been a sponsor of the show through thick and through thin for coming up on 20 years, and their message has remained the same all these 20 years. make sure you call someone local. With all the storms that have been in the area over the last couple of months, it's been busy, and a lot of out-of-towners are coming in. They sure are nice, but you know what? They'll take half your money, and you never see them again. Somebody from the insurance industry told me, make sure you call local. I told them I was well-schooled. John Beal Roofing will guarantee you the best price. They'll work with your insurance company to make sure you get the claim you deserve to fix it and fix it right. Roofing, siding, gutters, all storm damage, John Beal Roofing will take care of it. Keep it local and keep it John Beal. Keep it in the family for 20-plus years. John Beal Roofing, 1-800-NEW-ROOF or johnbealroofing.com.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply, stop to opt out.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country. When you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
Connect with a local divorce attorney today. Text LEGAL66 to 323232. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
Everyone at the Big 550 and the Salvation Army want to say thank you to all who donated to the Christmas in July toy drive. From the movie night to everyone stopping by our sponsors and KTRS studios to donate, we could not have done it without the support of our KTRS listeners. A huge thank you to our partners, Westport Plaza, Metal Exchange, Rawlings, Altair Travel, Ryan Raphael, John Beal Roofing. Because of everyone that participated, we have helped the Salvation Army and its Angel Tree Toy Town program for this upcoming holiday season. And we will help them again this December to make sure they can supply toys to the children this holiday season. Thank you from the Big 550, KTRS.
Most people think if I name my husband as beneficiary, everything's going to be okay, and that's not necessarily true.
I'm Scott Garcia with Premier Estate and Income Planning.
What am I doing taking care of people after somebody has passed and all the mess that comes with that?
And I'm Jennifer Cermak, Chief Counsel and Estate Planning Attorney of Premier Estate and Income Planning.
No longer is the attorney the gatekeeper to your lives.
Let us show you how to protect your assets, avoid probate, and retire with confidence.
Having an estate plan could be the most important document you could ever have.
The Premier Income and Estate Planning Show, this Saturday at 4 and this Sunday morning at 7 on the Big 550 KTRS.
Good stuff on the text line, Royal Banks, Missouri text line. You asked a great question before. What do we think about the guy wearing the MAGA hat and getting escorted out because the MLS rules say you can't. Some people very clear. The MS rules say you can't, so you can't. I think I really think you guys are just so wise and thoughtful, whatever perspective you're coming in on. And somebody's saying, Jill, you opine on the Great Divide, continuing in reference. Are you talking about the removal of the fan at the soccer game, or is your opinion that it's the policy? Who's the divider in this matter? And I, at the risk of sounding mealy-mouthed on it, I think it's a both thing. I think we have to address whether policies are really there to try to prevent drama or whether they're there to create drama. And I think we have to decide whether we do stuff like this to create drama or to just show up in support of a sporting thing and not try to cause trouble. Both of those things are in question, I think, in this case. And I don't have the answer, but I think it's a reminder that it just pulls us apart again, and again, and it's exhausting.
Now, I want to ask this texter if he's serious. Do you remember when Ballpark Village wouldn't allow red or blue shorts other than red or blue shirts other than Cardinal shirts? I believed it was aimed at gang activity. Now, you think that's a serious text?
I have no idea. Yeah, I think it's clear. A couple people pointing out that that it's a free speech thing. Even if you don't love public, people say I do not like Trump, but I think this is The MLS needs to be consistent with the rules, and it's a speech thing. A couple of you saying this guy went in looking for trouble, and he found it. Somebody texted me who's a big sports fan, and particularly international soccer fan, and they said a lot of these rules are definitely in place in international soccer because of violence and all kinds of stuff happening in other countries. We watched in Barcelona. We went to the game, and there was Catalonian rebellion, and there was some controversy over whether you could hand out flags at that game. And the soccer, the powers that be were really trying hard to not get people to express their political views during the soccer games.
And I would think if it comes down to like litigation, if it's in the MLS charter, I would think City SC would probably be okay in all this. So we'll see what happens.
Yep.
All right, we'll take a short time out. When we come back, one of the more entertaining television personalities we've ever had in our town, Rich Gould, will be in studio for our Back in Time segment.
Have you tried hands-free Skechers slip-ins yet? Because if you haven't, you're missing out on technology that changes how you think about shoes. First, these are not just regular slip-on shoes. They're not just a pair of loafers without laces. But what makes them different is the technology inside that lets you just step into them. There's a built-in hidden shoehorn that slides your foot in, so they look, feel, and wear just like a pair of shoes you're used to. Except you don't have to bend down, struggle to put them on, or touch them. Try them at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Make a splash this summer with Dogtown Pizza. The weather and the pizza ovens are heating up, so stock up on 12 different flavors of your favorite Dogtown. Why cook hamburgers on the grill when you can get a hamburger pizza? Hot chicken, the SOB and for me, and from the garden, tomato, basil, garlic, and the veggie. Make your next pool party a pizza party with 12 different flavors of Dogtown. One for every swimmer in your house. Make it a Dogtown summer at every local grocery store and dogtownpizza.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's Julie Buck here to tell you that the patio is open at Bishop's Post right next to Chesterfield Mall. Get your reservations in now and go to Bishop's Post. You will love it. Tell them Julie Buck sent you, bishopspost.com.
This is the
Big 550.
KTRS St. Louis.
From O'Fallon, Illinois to Granite City, Glen Carbon to Waterloo.
And the world.
Streaming live at KTRS.com.
I'm Michelle Franzen. Texas Democrats walked out of a special legislative session Sunday, breaking the quorum ahead of a vote. Many traveled to other Democratic states, including New York, where Governor Kathy Hochul welcomed them. The Texas Democrats accusing Republicans of gerrymandering as they moved to redraw districts earlier than expected to gain 5 GOP seats before the midterms. In Albany, Texas State Representative Michaela Plessa thanked Hochul.
Your continued support reminds us that the fight to protect democracy is not confined to one state. The fight is for all 50.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott condemning the move and demanding state Democrats return by 3 o'clock today Central Time, or Abbott threatened to have them removed from office. President Trump facing criticism after firing the top official who compiles numbers for the monthly jobs report, claiming without evidence downward revisions were, quote, fake. ABC's Mary Bruce has more.
President Trump pledging to announce a new head for the Bureau of Labor Statistics after he fired Commissioner Erica McIntyre on Friday, claiming without evidence that the latest jobs numbers were manipulated to make him look bad.
We had no confidence. I mean, the numbers were ridiculous.
But he has yet to provide any concrete evidence of that. The president's top economic advisors adamant Trump isn't shooting the messenger in the wake of the poor jobs report. But they say he does want his own appointee in place.
The president says he'll pick a top replacement. New global tariffs outlined by President Trump go into effect this week. Some businesses now warning American customers their costs for some products could go up in the coming months.
Procter & Gamble just last week raised its prices this month. Best Buy, Walmart, Dollar General, and Mattel have been talking about price increases, some echoing Walmart, which said the prices of imported items could go up, but they would keep prices, quote, as low as we can. They know that customers want to see lower prices.
ABC's Rebecca Jarvis. You're listening to ABC News.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text ALL to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text ALL to 321321. That's ALL to 321321.
Nationwide, 19 children have died inside hot vehicles since the start of the year, the majority of them in Texas. And there could have been 5 more deaths this weekend.
The owner of My Little Angel's home-based daycare in Houston has no complaints during her 3 years in operation. Now, Dominique Wilson has been ordered not to care for any children except her own after she was accused of leaving 5 kids from infant to 8 years old in a locked vehicle that wasn't running. The kids were rescued by passers-by. Wilson is charged with child endangerment.
ABC's Jim Ryan in Texas. In New York City, the lobby of 345 Park Avenue reopening in Midtown Manhattan a week after a gunman, Shane Tamura, allegedly killed 4 people before taking his own life. ABC's Phil Tate has new details about the mass shooting.
Authorities did reveal 47 rounds were fired from Tamura's M4 rifle, with 24 shell casings found on the 33rd floor and in the lobby. 23 shell casings and 13 bullet fragments that were also found. Now, important to note, detectives do say that there were 2 calls that were made to Tamura on the day of the incident. One of those calls came in just an hour before. Both of them lasted just under a minute. Detectives do say that they are withholding that information as to right now as to what specifically was discussed.
Someone close to Tamura's family said he had sought medical help for frequent debilitating headaches. Striking overnight, thousands of workers who build fighter jets for Boeing. I'm Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
This is KTRS News. I'm Sobe Bay. Thousands of Boeing workers in the St. Louis area are walking the picket lines this morning. KTRS's Jill Enders has the story.
Members of the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers rejected the company's latest contract offer over the weekend. Now, this comes after union members had previously voted down Boeing's contract offer late last month. Meanwhile, Dan Gillian, Boeing Air Dominance Vice President and General Manager and Senior St. Louis site executive, released a statement which reads in part, quote, "We're disappointed our employees rejected an offer that featured 40% average wage growth and resolved their primary issue on alternative work schedules," end quote. Now, the strike impacts over 3,000 workers at facilities in North County, St. Charles, and Mascoutah, Illinois. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
A 9-year-old girl drowned in the Kaskaskia River in rural Illinois over the weekend. The Fayette County Sheriff's Office said the child had been swept away under logs and other debris in the river on Saturday. Her body was recovered yesterday morning. The child's name has not been released. Another juvenile is the victim of gun violence in St. Louis. Police say a 17-year-old girl was shot early yesterday morning after a fight broke out at a party at a short-term rental along the 6500 block of Minnesota in South City. The victim suffered a gunshot wound to the knee and is said to be in stable condition. There's no word of any arrests. St. Louis city leaders are asking FEMA to extend the deadline for those impacted by the May 16 tornado. The deadline is currently set for August 10th, but city leaders want it extended to October 10th to allow survivors more time to apply. Meanwhile, 3 disaster recovery centers remain open. Those are at Sumner High School, the Urban League on Natural Bridge, and Union Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church. St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer is taking steps to rewrite city minority and women-owned contractor rules, stating the Trump administration has threatened grant cuts and prosecution in cities with such programs. Spencer issued a public letter to city residents saying consequences for noncompliance are severe, target both city and individuals, and impact the city's efforts to secure federal disaster recovery funding. Starting today in the city of St. Louis, a new 5-foot wide street sweeper will be used to clean and maintain protected bike lanes, shared use paths, pedestrian facilities, and other infrastructure that is too narrow for a typical street sweeper. Nicknamed Archie in honor of the Gateway Arch, the Green Machine 636 has sweeper and vacuum capabilities to pick up trash, dirt, and debris, which will help to maintain a cleaner and safer path for bicyclists and pedestrians. McBride Homes is planning a major housing development in the Hill neighborhood of South St. Louis. The company announced its plans to submit a proposal for zoning to the city of St. Louis for a project which includes 80 townhomes along the 5700 block of Wilson Avenue. August 10th will be a special day at the Illinois State Fair. Details from KTRS's Jim Fairchild.
The Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs, the Illinois Department of Agriculture, and the Illinois State Fair invite veterans and Gold Star families to enjoy a free day at the Illinois State Fair on Sunday, August 10th. The celebration marks the 250th birthdays of the United States Army, Navy, and Marine Corps. The speaking program will include readings and music relevant to the history of the branches and period clothing displays. The annual Veterans Day Parade through the fairgrounds will conclude the celebration. Jim Fairchild, KTRS News.
This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. Right now on Wall Street, Dow Jones is up 481 points to 44,070. S&P 500 is up 80 to 6,318. The NASDAQ is up 359 points to 21,008. KTRS Sports, Mizzou football conducts its first scrimmage today on day 8 of fall camp. No indications at the moment on who might have the edge in the quarterback competition between Bo Prabula and Sam Horn. The Cardinals' offense rallied late but didn't have enough to overcome a 7-3 score and lost to the Padres last night. The West Coast swing continues tonight as the Redbirds visit the Dodgers in Los Angeles. KTR's weather today, a mix of sun and clouds, scattered storm possible in the afternoon, high of 82. Tonight, mostly clear with an overnight low of 67. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and a high of 84. Currently, we have 78 degrees at 11:09. I'm Soapy Bay, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
It's time to go back in time with Frank Cusimano on the Big 550. KTRS, the talk of St. Louis.
All right, we are back. The Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. I think he was St. Louis television's most relaxed personality. He is Rich Gould, the Missouri Sports Hall of Famer, and a multi-Emmy Award winner. 34 years in television in St. Louis, 44 overall. Good to see you, sir. How are you?
I'm so relaxed, I'm asleep right now.
Before we really get going here, you've got to tell the audience, the story about your daughter, McDonald's, and a youth basketball game, because I think
you're talking to Earl Austin.
I love the story.
It was really no big deal, but what I did, everybody get their kids McDonald's after they played the game.
Sure.
I wouldn't do that. I'd go before the game, and I'd get myself a cheeseburger, and I'd say, "You want one of these?" "Sure, love one, Dad." "All right, well," daughter Kelly would say, "You better play well, otherwise you don't get one."
So you had your sustenance, but she wasn't going to get hers.
I'd bribe her with a cheeseburger.
Did it work?
Most of the time.
Yeah, good.
By the way, whose TV is that outside? This place has changed. This whole I haven't been here in a while.
That's Rawlings.
That great big TV out there. I'd kind of like to take that home with me.
Hey, on a beautiful day like today, go grab some
out,
food,
yeah.
sit out there, watch a game.
I'm surprised there's no pickleball court out there.
Yeah, exactly. We're Frank and I are lobbying for one of those anytime soon. So you had longest career in sports in the state of Missouri and this whole area. Never got tired of it after 44
Ned
years.
Reynolds was longer than me down in Springfield.
But
Ned's my
St.
friend.
Louis. Now, Vaughn is claiming he went a month longer. Is that
No.
bad reporting?
He didn't do that. He didn't do that at all. He for some reason he was looking at it, and he'd asked me, how much longer I'm going to work. I said, Doug, I don't know. Whatever. But no, he didn't go a month longer.
Oh, that's funny. Fake. You
and he
reported
wasn't a
fake
sports
news.
director.
That's right.
He wasn't the head, he wasn't the head guy there. So that was. I started here in '87.
Yeah, and you've
What
done
were you,
10
about
years.
12?
Yeah, no, I was graduating from high school
Is
that
that
year.
right? 87. Okay.
And but you didn't get tired of it after 44 years. What kept you interested in the work?
Well, I'll tell you, the games.
Mm-hmm.
I like those. I'm unlike Frank and the gang Some of the others in town, I think they were more involved in the stories behind the scenes, the work. What's Orthwine going to do? What's Jerry Clinton going to do? Stuff like that.
All these current names, I love it.
I didn't care much about that, but I really like the games. I love watching athletes do what they do far better than I ever could.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still that way, even though I watch a lot less TV when it comes to sporting events. I watch a lot more TV when it comes to NCIS.
Yeah.
I don't know, repeats.
Now, do you miss anything about the business?
Not really.
That's good. That means you retired at the right time.
Yeah, I did. I retired at the right time. There's nothing I would do over again. I met a lot of people, but I have going down to the ballpark's a pain. You go down to the ballpark, you can walk if you're at Channel 5 and you're still there. Man, if you're driving from here, you can't park. If you do park, because you only need about 10 minutes, at least I did.
Yeah.
I'd get in there. I said, give me a minute and a half of your time, Jim Edmonds or whoever we're going to talk to. They'd do it. But inevitably, somebody would run down there and say, hey, Rich, you're double parked and they're going to tow your car. Mm-hmm. I said, come on, there's no other place to park. I'm not going to park 4 blocks away to come down here for a minute and a half.
Well, since you loved the game and the competition and watching the players do what they do, what stands out to you as some of the top moments of St. Louis sports history that you loved covering from your seat?
I think we all kind of know that. All the World Series are so cool. For various reasons. The baseball, of course, the freeze game was just mind-blowing. The 2004 Cardinals team was my favorite because, man, they could mash. Mm-hmm. That was a lineup that could hit. And so
you said what year?
2004.
Okay,
even
that was with Reggie
win,
Sanders and Walker and Edmonds, yeah.
Boston beat them because that was red hot. That's the year they came back and beat the Yankees, so they were on a roll. But the Blues Parade really sticks out as being special. To me, I thought that was cool. I actually had tears when the Blues won, and I cared less about hockey at that time than I did any other sport. Now I rather like it. I watch it a lot, but I didn't know anything about hockey. I never played it. My point always being a point of reference is important to people as sportscasters and as to what you like. Well, the 2 sports I didn't play were hockey and soccer.
Not a lot of hockey rinks in Branson 50 years ago.
Not a lot of hockey rinks. I knew what it was like to let a ball go through my legs or to get a base hit and drive in a run. I knew what it's like to make a free throw or completely turn it over. The same with football, to fumble, to throw an interception or to throw a touchdown. You knew those. You felt them. And while it's different, certainly, than great players in college and the pros, still, you can, in your mind, know that's what happened. And so that's why I like those sports. So hockey is really just now. When I get to the playoffs, I can watch any game out there.
How about the John Kelly story, who did a magnificent job for 20 years, and to lose it like that? What did you think when you read that?
Well, I thought it was too bad because I like John. I know him. I've known him since he came to town when his father was here. He was the preeminent hockey announcer in the country and really in Canada, North America. I mean, Dan was revered. And when he died, I actually did play-by-play for a couple NHL games, which was a real kick because I had no idea what was going on. Thank God for Bruce Affleck. But and then John came in shortly after that. I'm gonna guess he started with the Blues, about 91, 92?
Yeah. He had a cup of coffee, then he went to Denver, and then he came back.
And then came back.
That's right.
So you're always sad when somebody you know and like gets pushed out, and I don't see it as any other way. But the scope of television that I know very little of with games now is just a lot different than it used to be.
Yeah. 100%. If you're just tuning in, of course, you're listening to a voice you recognize, Rich Gould, joining us in our Back in Time segment, reminiscing about some great moments in St. Louis
Where's
sports
your karaoke
history.
Machine?
I know. That's what you need, because I want to talk about some of the things.
You don't have a karaoke machine here?
We just kind of sing
I'm
along
ready to
what
launch
Connor's.
into Mac the Knife at any time.
I was going to say, you are doing a lot of fun stuff in this stage of your life, post your TV broadcasting career, including writing an adorable children's book.
That's fun. It's something I kind of always wanted to do, and it's something I attacked as soon as I retired because I didn't want to just sit on the couch and watch television. I have kind of morphed into that lately. I'm doing a lot more of that now. But it was something I wanted to try, and the thing that I like about it, the challenge, was I had to get my own copyright. I had to get my own ISNB number. I had to find my own illustrator. The writing part was easy enough because it's a semi-true story. And so I knew that had happened to me when I was down in Branson when I'd moved there. The book's called There's a Snake Down There.
This is a true story.
This is a true story. I was 14. I moved from Orange County, California to Branson, Missouri.
As one does.
Happens all the time.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was unique. And my dad said, as we're building a house down there, a little house, he said, hey, you got to keep your eyes open. There are copperheads down there. I'm going to make a mess of you. So I was always looking for snakes. I got home one day, and I'm looking downstairs, and I open it. Only me and my grandmother were there. She was a crusty old broad, boy. I mean, she'd light up a camel and put her hand behind her back, spy on the neighborhood. So I opened the door, and I looked down, and there was a snake setting up, and I thought, uh-oh. She says, well, go down and kill it. I said, what the? I'm not Mac the Hunter. I said, what do you mean kill it? I'm 14 years old. I don't know anything about killing copperhead snakes, poisonous snakes. You get down there and kill that thing. All right, so I take a shovel down there, sneak up on it. I couldn't see very well because outside it was very bright, and in a basement it's very dark. So my eyes were still kind of focusing.
This was before the days of fancy suburban finished basements.
Yes, I had no finish to that basement, believe me. And so I hit it as hard as I could with a shovel. And then I looked down there. Well, it wasn't a snake at all. It was my dad's work glove. I was just setting up like this.
So you killed it good.
I cut the finger off his work glove. And I promise you, in my book, that father is a lot more understanding than mine was. He was PO'd.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that want to read a Rich Gould children's book. How do they do it?
I hope they do. Well, they can get on my website, rgobooks.com. I've been lucky. It's been out now for a year and a half. And I've sold, I've made a little bit more money than I had to pay out of my own pocket to get it done. So good. I'm in the black.
All right.
Not much. You're not going to get rich doing this, believe me. But I'm in over 30 states. So that part is good. And what I do now is I'll take my book to local schools around the area, take my guitar and read to them and sing a little song I made up for the book and answer their questions and then skedaddle.
Wow.
What a
treat.
I tell you, what's really fulfilling about it is to watch a little kid read your stuff.
That is an incredible use of your time, by the way, in this season of your life. I really want to give you kudos for that. One of our texters wants to know if...
You got texters, too?
We do, on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line.
This is a modern studio.
84126. They want to know if you still order a pizza and watch the All-Star Baseball game.
I do. Every year since I was a little kid, I'd get pizza and watch the All-Star game.
And the tipping of the cap still gets to you?
Jill, here's the difference, though, now. With all the All-Star games growing up, and boy, were they special when you're watching Mays and McCovey and Clemente and Jim Palmer, just all the guys. And then even through it, the part that gets me the worst is when they step forward and tip their cap. Makes me cry every year.
Yeah.
It just gets me. And daughter Katie, who was a good player, so she made her all-star team, and I said, listen, honey, step forward, tip your cap, step back. And she didn't do it. One of the greatest disappointments of my life. I told her I'd never bring it up again.
Yeah.
But I had to.
But here you go.
You're so right about the All-Star game.
Yeah, it's good. But now, Frank, I don't know these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know them because I watch far less sports, read very little about it. And so there are names on the All-Star team. And I think I'm such a bad guy for not knowing it. But, boy, I don't. So here these guys come out, and I say, who the hell is that?
Well, spending your time reading to kids and getting them fired up about learning to read is probably just as worthwhile as knowing all the names of the players.
Well, thanks. It is. It's fun. I get some weird looks when I say, hey, kid, you want to come home with me? The parents think that's a little weird.
Yeah.
I'll redo it in my house.
I wouldn't do that.
They seem to think that's a little silly. But
I want to ask you about, if you ever had like a really bad sportscast, videos popping up at the wrong time, wrong video, you're kicking some words. Did that ever bother you?
Sure.
Okay.
You know, even though I am relaxed and I can let stuff roll off, especially when it comes to a sportscast, you bet.
Okay.
It would bother the heck out of me if something went wrong. Because ultimately, no matter how it went wrong, it's on you. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It may not be your fault. It may be a producer. It may be, you know, somebody in the back room who pushed the wrong button, but it's on you. I never got too upset at anybody behind the scenes when things didn't go well. But yeah, I'd get mad if I did poorly.
2 more quickies.
You know?
The great Googly Moogly set it up. Was it McGuire?
Yeah, it was. First of all, not a call that I would ever think about or do again. It certainly wasn't planned.
This is so great.
McGuire. Cardinals were playing the Giants, and Carpenter had someplace to go. I think so.
Yeah.
It was 98. Carpenter had someplace to go. So I'm doing the game with Ozzie. And McGuire hit one out, and I said, great googly moogly, he did it, or something along those lines. And people seemed to attach themselves to it, and I thought, what a stupid call. What the hell did you say that for?
I love it.
But it worked okay.
Real.
Yeah, it worked okay. That was the thing I remember most about that game. It was Ozzie's first year, I think, retired, and first year in the booth. And the game went 17 or 18 innings. Finally, in about the 11th inning, Ozzie just said, I got to go for a while. And he got up and left the booth because he was bored. He didn't want to do that, you know. He's used to playing. I didn't see him for 30 minutes.
And he probably said you couldn't have a cheeseburger till the end of the game, and he was hungry.
That's right.
All right, one more. You had a show on Sunday nights. It aired at 7 o'clock, and there'd be 6 of us in the Sports Plus studio, and we would always watch it.
Back
It was
when you had
appointment
people actually
television.
working there.
Yeah, back when we had 6 instead of 1 or 2 now. But you would have a guy behind the door, the mystery guest. Now, how often did you actually know that person was, who did you know it was coming?
Yeah, I had to, because I'm the one that set it all up. I had no help ever.
So your acting
that's
was
the
great.
thing. I mean, Rammer, of course, was there. And when we worked together, then we'd help each other. And Dave Jobe at that time was a producer, but that was years and years and years ago. Once they started cutting, I was by myself with no producer for most of my career. So the whole door thing was, I just stole from the Dean Martin show. The old Dean Martin show, he'd open a door, and I don't think Dino knew, because he didn't like to.
But you knew, but you just did great acting.
I
oh, my
knew,
gosh, it's Walt Chockety.
Oh, my God, here's Don King. Yes, I would have to do that. But I knew they were coming, because I'm the one that had to call them, and it's the thing that I liked least about my job for years was calling people and saying, God, can you please come on a Sunday night?
Yeah.
It's a Sunday night.
Oh,
They're with their families. Can you please come? Most of them are so kind about it.
It's like Rick Smith, the legendary Rams PR guy. I'd say, I want to get Rich Brooks down here on a Sunday night. He goes, Coos, he wants to make love to his wife. It's Sunday night. Let it go.
That's exactly right.
All right. The name of the book, there's Snake. There's a
snake down there, Frank.
There's a snake down there.
Sure.
I didn't see the A there.
RGObooks.com is where you can find it, the best place to order it. You can go on Amazon too, but RGObooks.com is going to be the best price and
best price,
best
little part in the website. So if you want me to sign it or say something, I'm happy to do it.
Oh, Rich, it was really, really fun. And I say that from the bottom of my heart to have you here today.
Are you kicking me out?
We are. We got to, get to advertisers and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, well, no, wait a minute. What do you got next?
We have the coming up a little bit later, we have a very special promotion for, it's the Hardy Strong Foundation. And that's a WashU ball player, got cancer in his senior year, one of the greatest basketball players ahead. We're going to tell people.
Well, in that case, that's a good cause.
Okay,
so
good.
I'd say, if it was just somebody else, I'd say bump them.
Okay, I agree. I think it's always a good pitch. You've made it. You earned it, to say the least, but it was a delight to have you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Right back after this.
Home equity loans are home everything loans at Neighbors Credit Union. Home improvements, vacations, education, even debt consolidation. Anything and everything you have planned can be made easier with my friends at Neighbors Credit Union. With the flexibility of a home equity line of credit at Neighbors Credit Union, you can enjoy a great introductory rate for the first 12 months. The possibilities are endless. Stop by one of the 8 area locations or apply online at neighborscu.org.
Equal housing opportunity. NMLS number 509288. Call 800-325-2697 for complete account and cost details.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Dr. Joe, it can get very confusing, but the one thing we need to know is GLP-1, right? That's the magic cure.
Yeah, they're on the med, and these medications are used, these GLP-1s, for reducing inflammation in your body. I get so many folks that are like, wow, I don't have the knee pain. I don't have the...
Because once you start losing weight, all these other things naturally happen to you in a positive way. Not just talk about the deals for KTRS listeners at stlmedweightloss.com.
All KTRS listeners, they get $50 to $100 off their first month. And what's beautiful about it too, hey, I get it. The economy, what we just had, guys, things are difficult right now, but we make the plan work for you. We have financing options. We make this work for you because we realize how important it is to get down in your weight, get your confidence back, and really start feeling like the old you.
Call stlmedweightloss.com and ask Dr. Joe. stlmedweightloss.com.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset. Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardy contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation, 314-569-1050. And have a banner day.
One of the great things about living in St. Louis are the great hospitals, and none better than Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. It is a special place, and if you don't believe me, talk to any parent who's had a child who was treated at Cardinal Glennon, and you will see the pride in their face. So, for all of the doctors and nurses and staff at Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, we thank you for all the work you do day in and day out. To find out more about SSM Health, Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, glennon.org. That's glennon.org.
When you want to send flowers to a loved one for a birthday, anniversary, or that special occasion, call your friends at Walter Knoll Florist. Walter Knoll is family-owned and operated and offers custom designs by expert designers. A huge inventory and selection that only the largest florist can offer, with quality and care that no grocery store florist can meet. They have several locations in the St. Louis metro area to serve you. Order online today at WKF.com. That's WKF.com. Walter Knoll Florist, your personal florist since 1883.
I'm Bob Hardcastle. Listen to my Money Talk radio program every Sunday morning from 8 to 9 a.m. on the Big 550, where we discuss your money in an easy-to-understand manner. We have interesting guests, chat about money. We try to help you feel more comfortable with your money by talking about the investment market. Join me. I'm Bob Hardcastle.
Money Talk, Sunday morning at 8 on the Big 550 KTRS.
The Bommarito Automotive Group has been your number one choice for all your automotive needs for over 51 years. They've sold over 1 million vehicles by giving you a better price, a better selection, and more for your trade. You can see their entire inventory. It's over 12,000 vehicles online today at Bommarito.com.
Want a song?
Around my mind like a song on the radio.
Want a quote? It's the song and quote of the day on the Frank and Jill Show. right here on the Big 550 KTRS.
Welcome back, everybody. Frank and Jill Show. Jill Farmer, Frank Cusimano, Connor McCarthy here as well. Fun show. Gosh, Rich Gould was just incredibly entertaining and so many great stories to tell. Earlier in the show, we talked about the fact that Lonnie Anderson passed away at the age of 79. Many of you texted in about your favorite WKRP in Cincinnati moments, including Les Nessman's door. He had a cardboard sign and magic marker outside of his door with a very official-sounding title. And then the Band-Aids. He was notorious for having a Band-Aid on somewhere in his body. And one person on the text line saying that when their grandson is asking for a Band-Aid for every boo-boo, she calls him Les Nessman because it's kind of a cultural, it was a cultural thing that we all knew about back in the day. So thanks, you guys, for texting in with your reminiscence of the show. Speaking of going back in time for something great, I heard this song over the weekend. I was sitting out by the lake looking at the beautiful cloud formations, and it just reminded me of this song, which is one of my all-time faves. What do you guys think about it? Such a good song, of course, by Joni Mitchell. And I don't know if you saw this, Frank, but a year or two ago, she came to I think it was the Newport Folk Festival, which is the place where the controversy took place in the festival where the controversy took place in the Bob Dylan movie that came out. But she came back and played, and she's has a pretty significant health challenges in a number of years, hasn't sung in public for many, many years, but she came and sang with Brandi Carlile. This song sounded different, but still pretty amazing to see her back on stage.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for sound today, comedian Lachlan Peterson, he's just really funny. He pokes fun at his generation, which I believe are the millennials. He said, though, if you want to learn patience, watch your dad enter his email address into the TV remote. But he also says, old people of the future are going to be the worst old people we've ever had. He said, our grandparents showed us stories of milestones, important life happenings. Here's what he says his generation will be like as old people.
That's good.
Do you clean out your photos very often?
I usually have one of the kids do it, yeah.
Because it is kind of hilarious, the stuff that we take pictures of, that when you were developing a roll of film, I mean, there's just no way you were going to pay money wasting pictures on stuff.
You're right.
And now we just take pictures of everything. And half the time it doesn't get cleaned off. It's just sitting there being paid for to be stored in the cloud. I know we all need to get better about it, but I thought that was pretty
funny. I saw him on NBC's Last Comic Standing. He was good. And doesn't he do some touring with Nate Bargatze? I think he does.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen too much of his stuff, but I thought the 5 or 10 minutes that I watched of him, I thought he was very, very good. Speaking of very good, Capital Advisory Group. Jeff Zufall in last week. Really good insights on the market and on some other things that are impacting us all with the economy. And, of course, he's the guy to go to when it comes to taxes as well, which makes his style of wealth management unique, because tax-informed wealth strategy is what they do better than just about anybody else. And he is a senior tax strategist. It's a title that means he understands tax laws in ways that the rest of us really just don't. You can reach out to him today, capitaladvisorygrp.com. Set up an appointment with Jeff and his staff to find out how to make your money grow for you and make sure you don't overpay on your taxes. 636-394-5524.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
Summertime sneaks back in as the week progresses, but generally over the next couple of days, still not bad at all. We'll keep temperatures below normal again today, humidity at a comfy level, partly cloudy, a high near 83. Now, some of us will deal with some spotty storms. This is generally going to be from the metro St. Louis area to the east, basically along and east of the Mississippi River. And then dry overnight tonight, patchy fog developing, 68 for the low. Tuesday, more of the same, just a little bit warmer, a bit more humid, still that chance of some spot storms from metro St. Louis to the east. Looks like more typical summertime heat returns for the second half of the work week with highs near 90 and more noticeable humidity from Wednesday through Friday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers on the Big 550 KTRS.
John Bill Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
A message from the master. If you are looking for that one-of-a-kind gift this year, come on in to Newsletter's Fine Jewelers. Let Richard draw your future present for somebody you love. This special engraving lasts a lifetime. At the corner of Big Ben and Doherty Ferry or at wowdiamonds.com.
Bob Ramsey for AAA Home Services, a local, family-owned and family-run American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning Platinum dealer that's been keeping St. Louis comfortable and safe for 55 years. They service all brands, so schedule them to service your AC before it gets too hot. And if you need a new system, they'll give you a fair and honest estimate on American Standard, voted #1 by Consumer Reports. You'll get the best pricing and tax credits of 2025. Call AAA at 636-397-3200, online at AAASTL.com. Call AAA. We're on our way.
Some of my fondest memories as a kid is heading down to the hardware store. You had to pick up a couple of nails, a couple of screws, maybe a gallon of paint, whatever it may be, right? It was your friendly neighborhood hardware store. Well, those don't exist anymore in St. Louis, except for Schnarr's Hardware. They have 2 locations in Webster Groves and in Clayton Road in Ladue. Schnarr's Hardware is that place where you go in and you can get that bucket of paint, you can get a couple screws. The advice is always free. And the one thing about Schnarr's Hardware that every single family hardware store used to have, and that is the smell. It smells like a hardware store. It's got the selection. I don't know how they do it. It's a small store, but they got everything you ever need. They got the paint. They got paint matching. They've got big green eggs. They've got screws and nails and everything a hardware store should have. Schnarr's Hardware, 2 locations, 1 great hardware store. Schnarr's Hardware, we'll see you there.
I'm Mark Cantor. Here's why you can count on Cantor Injury Law.
My name is Michelle. I'm a litigation paralegal at Cantor Injury Law, and you can count on Cantor because we are smart, honest, and hardworking.
I'm Kevin Glenn, and a partner here at Cantor Injury Law. You can count on Cantor because we make your cause our cause.
No fee if no recovery. Please visit CantorInjuryLaw.com or call us at 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Becoming a truck driver doesn't have to be complicated. At Schneider, we make it easy to get your commercial driver's license and start your new career. With our CDL apprenticeship training, you'll get paid to become a truck driver in just 5 to 6 weeks and have a Schneider driving job waiting for you when you've completed the program. Plus, during training, Schneider will provide transportation, lodging, and meals at no cost to you. Ready to get your career on the road? Learn more and apply today at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Mom, what do you always say?
There's nothing sadder than jewelry that sits in a drawer.
That's why we are proud to offer jewelry repair on site at Newsletter's Fine Jewelry. We know that your jewelry is important to you, and we take that part of our job very seriously. Visit us at Doherty Ferry and Big Bend or learn more at wowdiamonds.com.
And welcome back to the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. I think in about 33 years of covering sports in St. Louis, I don't think I ever met anybody more courageous or more compelling than Justin Hardy, who was a magnificent basketball player at Washington University, terrific student, charismatic. Everybody that knew him loved him. Well, he lost his battle with stomach cancer about 3 years ago. But his memory will live on forever with the foundation Hardy Strong. Joining us now is his mother, Karen. Karen, great to be with you. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on your program today.
So you want to honor his memory, and you're going to have a special moment or a special night at Busch Stadium. Give our listening audience a little idea about this great night of baseball and fellowship and great food.
Yeah, so we are a Chicago suburb-based foundation, but we want to stay connected with the St. Louis community, which is where Justin went to school. He also received his treatment at Siteman. And we have a daughter that still lives in St. Louis. So we're passionate about staying involved in St. Louis, and we decided that a baseball game would be a really fun way to gather people and raise awareness for our foundation and raise money for gastric cancer research. So we are hosting an event at Busch Stadium on Sunday, September 21st. It's a day game, and we are renting out 3 of the premier all-inclusive suites, and we're selling tickets for $100 each, and it's on a day game that they host the Milwaukee Brewers, who are having a good season, and also have a player on their team that Justin went to college with, Caleb Durbin.
What a great way to bring a full circle event. This is Jill Farmer, Karen. We're so glad that you're with us here today. So let's talk a little bit about hereditary diffuse gastric cancer. What is it, and why do people need to understand more about it?
Yeah, so it's just one of many stomach cancers that are out there, but what's unique about hereditary diffuse gastric cancer is that it's typically caused by a gene mutation. In particular, Justin's was caused by the CDH1 gene mutation. And so it's a hereditary cancer, and it also gives you risk for lobular breast cancer as well. So the gene mutation itself leads you to a higher risk for these types of cancers. This cancer is really unique in the fact that it doesn't typically form a tumor. So it's cells that typically just spread to the lining of the stomach, and they're very difficult to detect through an upper endoscopy because there's not one big mass that they're looking for. So it's very, very hard to detect, and it's quite often found in the late stages of stomach cancer, which is exactly what happened with Justin. His was discovered when he was already stage 4.
Tell me about the Hearty Strong Foundation. What's the goal? What's the mission?
Yeah, so we started out with, we have the opportunity to discuss with Justin what he wanted us to do going forward to honor him. And he really wanted to make sure that we were able to provide scholarships to people like himself who wanted to pursue their dream of an athletic passion in college, but are typically unfunded. So these would be students that attend schools like a D3 school like Justin did at WashU, or NAIA or JUCO. These students, they're typically very limited scholarships and usually none available at all. So Justin wanted to make sure that these students who have the love for playing the game are provided an opportunity to receive some scholarships in his honor. So that was how the foundation started, but we evolved the scope to include doing research, raising funds for research specifically for the hereditary diffuse gastric cancer. And then we also have a mission focus that is bringing awareness and access to genetic testing for hereditary cancer risks. So, if we had known that Justin had this gene mutation, he might have been able to, take different measures, preventative measures, possibly having his stomach removed before this entered in such a late stage. And so that's what the genetic testing portion of our mission is to just bring an awareness about it. We had no reason to think that we had a hereditary gene mutation that would cause this cancer because we had no family history that we knew about with stomach cancer in our family. So we just didn't know about it. So we want to just bring an awareness to people about it.
Wow, really, what a great way to turn something tragic into something beautiful to be able to help support other families and moving research forward. If somebody says, yeah, this Cardinals game sounds like a blast and definitely for a cause that is something that people want to support, what's the best way for them to get more information and buy the tickets?
Sure. You can go to our website, which is hardystrong.org, and you can click on the events page, and it's the event called Hardy Strong Hits St. Louis.
I want to ask you, too, during that season, because he was diagnosed in the summer, if I remember correctly, and it was stage 4, and it was really bad. Early on in that season, he had like a 28-point game where he was going crazy, just dunking. And then when we shot the story, he had that monster dunk. And there were so many like unbelievable Herculean athletic moments he had while he had the stage 4. That was just unbelievable, wasn't it?
It really was. I mean, people say that like this just doesn't happen with someone with that many, chemicals and chemotherapies going through his body and the physical challenges he was facing with dehydration and, stomach pain and neuropathy and all of that. But basketball ended up being Justin's, it was his passion. So it became his motivation, and it was something for him to focus on. And he truly did live the mind over matter mantra of just saying, you know what, I've got this game today and I'm going to do it. And that was what got him through.
And that senior night was one of the most emotional nights I think I can ever remember watching a sporting event. The other team had such respect for him because he had played against them his entire career. And for him to get that bucket, that must have been powerful for you.
It was. I think there wasn't a dry eye in the stands. He wasn't even expecting to put on a jersey for that game because he was nearing, the tumor his cancer had grown, had spread. He was feeling worse. So he didn't think he would even wear a jersey that day. So it was special that they let him in and he was able to score a bucket on his last collegiate game of his career. And it was very special. It's a day I'll never forget as well, Frank.
He seemed, Karen, like he was so positive to the end. Did he ever have a moment with you and Bob, asking the question, why me?
You know what? He never questioned why me. Even on the day of his diagnosis, we were in the hospital together and it was just me and him, and said, what are we going to do? I said, we're going to do this one day at a time and we're going to figure it out and we're going to march forward and we're going to stay positive. And he didn't ever ask why me, but he did have dark days in the very beginning. He still had so many unanswered questions about what to expect with treatment, what to expect with prognosis. And then he really had a big shift a few months after that, and he lived very positively. He was very others focused. He lived his life truly with intention, and he wanted to be present, and he had, so much heart in his purpose of sharing things with others. He was very generous with his time and his openness and his willingness to just be there for everybody. It was really kind of unique and special. And I think that that's part of what inspired a lot of people.
He was something else. Once again, if somebody wants to be a part of this special day and help out a great cause, how do they do it?
They go to hardystrong.org, or you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, X, Instagram, Facebook at Hardy Strong NFP, which is non-for-profit. So Hardy Strong NFP or the hardystrong.org website.
Karen, thanks for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Frank. Thanks, Jill. I really appreciate you bringing awareness to our important missions.
All righty. That's Karen Hardy, the mother of the late, great Justin Hardy, joining us.
Yep, I got to be at that senior game. It was alumni night, and it was just, you said it. I mean, it was so incredibly moving, not a dry eye in the place. And I didn't know Justin personally, but one of his best friends from high school is one of my daughter and Austin's best friends now, and and another good friend was a manager for the WashU basketball team. And just the things they say about his maturity and wisdom so beyond his years, even before he had the diagnosis.
Yeah.
Pretty inspirational all the way around. Our friend Ryan Raphael came in specifically to answer your listener questions on the text line. You guys asked some great questions. He gave some great answers. And there's just nothing that phases him. You can ask him anything direct. And his encyclopedic knowledge of everything related to Medicare, so helpful for anybody turning 65, anybody has retirement approaching, anybody who's realized that they're in a plan that isn't actually working for them because other things have changed in their lives. Ryan knows it all. He can help you understand it so much better. And all you have to do is reach out to him to set up an appointment. It's completely free. His fees are paid by the insurance companies, and he will take care of you to get you the information you need to have this whole process be much less overwhelming, much less onerous. You can call him directly on his cell phone, 314-368-6808, or visit MedicareManSTL.com.
When you go and get your car washed, do you really care which car wash you go to? Yes, because not all car washes are created equal. Country Club Car Wash is the local family-owned and family-operated car wash since 1989. All these other ones that are popping up, they're all run by out-of-town hedge funds. Keep it local. Keep it great. Touchless car washes, no brushes, inside and out. 5 area locations, Country Club Car Wash or cccwstl.com.
Something new is hidden inside City Museum, a twisting maze of metal and myth. Walls made of syrup tanks and Twinkie pans, glass from an old library, secrets behind every turn, and deep inside, a 2-story slide unlike anything before. The all-new 4th floor expansion, Labyrinth, is now open. You have to lose yourself to find your path. Play all summer with a summer play pass, only $34.99 at citymuseum.org.
St. Louis is home to more than 80,000 University of Missouri St. Louis alumni, where they drive the region's economy and contribute to its social and cultural well-being. At UMSOL, more is what moves us. Find your more at more.umsl.edu.
Is it time to make a change with your bank? Hi, it's Julie Buck for Triad Bank. They are a full-service financial institution with 2 locations, and they've been around since 2005 with the mission to provide a wide range of commercial and personal banking services. Here's their website. It's triadbanking.com.
When you pay for tree work, you want to be sure you're getting the most for your hard-earned money. That's why you should always use the ISA-certified arborist at River City Tree Service in Baldwin, Missouri. Hi, I'm Steve with River City Tree Service, and we've been the go-to tree service since 2008. Tree removal, tree trimming, storm damage, deadwood removal, stump grinding, and more. Give River City Tree Service a call for all your tree service needs at 314-270-8071. That's 314-270-8071. River City Tree Service.
Hey, it's Heidi, and I feel very lucky to love where I live. And I know Lauren Risley feels the same. And her team at Lauren Risley Realty wants you to experience that same great feeling. One of their mottos at Lauren Risley Realty is love where you live or move. Dream homes are their specialty. Actually, they do a lot of things right, because when you buy or sell a home, it's not just a transaction. What the Lauren Risley team does is build relationships, and I've seen that firsthand. So if you have plans to buy, sell, invest, or just have a question about any of it, call Lauren Risley Realty, 314-775-0684. That's 314-775-0684. You can also email Lauren at hello@laurenrisleyrealty.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
All right, welcome back. Frank and Jill Show. We're excited because on Thursday for our weekly special, brought to you by our great friends at Kuna, it's going to be Olive and Oak. Their great chef, Mike Risk, coming in studio.
Oh, so good. I'm looking forward to
Anybody
that.
ever had a bad meal there?
I haven't, but in that case, I would say
I've never been.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so hopefully they bring something.
One of the great burgers of all time.
Yeah, and the other restaurants that they've opened, you know, sometimes you worry about the diffusion. We've talked about this with other restaurants where it's like the original was so good and then they started spreading out. But this is one that they just seem to be able to duplicate the excellence in every single different iteration they've come out with. So it'll be interesting to hear what the secret sauce is, so to speak, to make that happen. Coming up on the show tomorrow, we've got Dr. Rick. He's got some really interesting new things as it relates to everything from your memory or keeping your joints from being creaky. Joe Holloman, always fun to hear what our congressional representatives are doing out in Washington. He brings us in the know on that. Carney up next, along with Julie and Max as well. And you may or may not be around later on in the show.
Yeah, because Heidi's still on vacation.
Okay, which means sometimes that they need Connor to come help hold down the fort as well.
Content?
Yes,
You're
they
a
need.
content creator, Connor?
Of course.
Very nice.
He makes the magic happen, I think is how we usually describe it. Really fun show today. We are so glad all of you are with us, and make sure you keep your dial right here.
If you have back-to-school shopping to do, then you should make Macy's your first stop. Because Macy's has back-to-school styles from brands like Nike and Jordan, must-have denim from Levi's and Good American, and now Macy's has Abercrombie Kids too.